You're listening to the Main Street Deal, part of Main Street Media. I'm Jordan. It's Thursday, July 16th. Today's story is about Truc Nguyen, who bought 2 nail salons in Austin, Texas. Truc Nguyen was a Harvard-educated management consultant. She didn't own a salon. She didn't have industry experience in beauty services. What she had was an observation. Nail salons in Austin were being run the way small businesses have been run for 40 years, by a founder-operator who built the chair count, kept the books in a spiral notebook, and had no exit plan, and the businesses were selling for 1-to-1. Times SDE. That's not a typo. 1.5 times. For context, the plumbing business we walked through on Monday was priced at 2 times SDE, right at market for its category. Nail salons trade for less than half that. Why? Buyer pool. There aren't 2 Zutschel MBAs bidding on a nail salon listing. Language and cultural barriers keep the traditional Vietnamese American buyer network local and off the search fund radar, and keep the search fund buyers out because they don't know how to underwrite a business where 60% of communication happens in Vietnamese. That gap is the opportunity. Truc bought the first salon. Then, before the ink was dry, on year 1, she bought the second. Here's how she did it. The first acquisition was small enough to self-fund. At around 1.5 times SDE on nail salon typical earnings, we're talking a 5 or low 6-figure check, no SBA package, no investor deck, no board of advisors. She wrote a check, closed the deal, and walked in the door as the new owner. Year 1 is where the story turns into a case study. Revenue on that first salon grew 33%, not through some brilliant marketing pivot, not through a rebrand, through what she called professionalization, standardized appointment scheduling, consistent price sheets, a customer database, follow-up texts 24 hours after each appointment. So uniform training on service protocols so that the manicure a customer got in 6 was the same manicure they got in 11 from any tech on the floor. The kind of blocking and tackling that gets taught in the first week of a consulting engagement and that most Main Street operators never receive. The margins tell the same story. Nail salons in Austin, in her hands, run 18 to 20% operating margins. That is well above the industry average for the category. The professionalization is what compounds. Then came the second acquisition. This one was documented cleanly. Around $500,000 in annual revenue, $90,000 to $100,000 in SDE, purchase price at the same 1.5 times multiple. Call it under $150,000, all in self-funded again. Same operating playbook. The turning point in Truc's story wasn't the first deal. It wasn't even the second. It was the realization, and she has stated this in interviews, that the category is set up for a roll-up. Uncrowded buyer pool, retiring founder operators, low multiples, high margin operations once you standardize them. Every deal at this multiple that generates 30% growth pays back the purchase price in about 3 years, and you still own the salon. Here's the lesson, and I want you to sit with this one for a minute. Truc is not doing anything a management consultant wouldn't do on any engagement. She's writing SOPs. She's building a customer database. She's standardizing pricing. She's coaching techs. The reason the returns are extraordinary isn't because the operational work is extraordinary. It's because the multiples on entry are extraordinary. 1.5 times SDE for a real cash flowing established business. And those multiples exist because most buyers can't or won't underwrite the category. The uncrowded categories are uncrowded for reasons that look like problems from the outside. Language, cash-heavy transactions, labor-intensive floors, owner-founders who don't answer email. If any one of those things scares you, someone else with more patience just found a business trading at a 1/3 of the multiple your business is trading at. One concrete action this week. Pick a category you have some cultural or language proximity to. Your parents' community, the neighborhood you grew up in, a trade you did in high school. Pull up biz buy sell in that vertical. Sort by asking price. Look at the multiples. If they're a 1/3 of what you see in your default search categories, you've found the pocket. Now spend the next 30 days learning enough about that category to bid intelligently on the next one that shows up. That's it for Thursday. Find all of Main Street Media's shows wherever you listen. Subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see you Monday in the deal room.